Figure Eye standard Son Goku new spec version was released on the 29th of October and retails for 2,700 yen or roughly 18 US dollars if you go by the current conversion rate. Obviously, that depends on where and when you buy it, but if you are looking to add this one to your collection for roughly around that 18 US dollars before shipping, I'll have a link in the description on where you can pick one up as well. So it feels like forever since I last took a look at a Figure Eye's Dragon Ball model kit. I think the last one I reviewed was Future Gohan, which despite being mostly a reuse of the original Goku kit, ended up being a pretty decent figure slash model kit, with all the new Future Gohan parts just working really well. And after that, I think most people, including myself, just thought the line died out. I mean, Figure Eyes have continued pumping out model kits for their other properties that they have licenses for, but it's been literally 2 years since we've seen a new Dragon Ball release. Wow, 2 years. Geez, that's time flies, huh? So what exactly happened to the Dragon Ball line? Well, I'm not exactly sure and I don't really have an answer for that, but this model kit kind of just came out of nowhere with very little announcement before the actual release, but for now, it does look like the Dragon Ball line is back, and back with another Goku? Well, yes and no, because this is an all-new, all-improved new spec version of our iconic hero. And yes, you can tell right off the bat that this new 2.0 version has a couple of upgrades. The first thing you're going to notice is the overall improved body proportions, and damn, did they do a good job. It's still not as refined as, say, a Figure Arts figure, in my opinion, but it's a vast step up from the original. Don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed the 1.0 Goku kits for what they were at the time, but the biggest problem that kit suffered from was the disproportionate arms. The legs are fine, the torso was fine, but for some reason the arms always looked a little short to me, and the small hands really didn't help either. I feel Figure Eyes has rectified that issue with the 2.0, giving this new kit much better length arms with hands and interchangeable options for hands that are actually sculpted really well. They actually look really good. Speaking of sculpt, this is of course a completely brand new kit using all brand new parts from all brand new runners, and I just said like brand new like 3 times in one sentence. Anyway, I really do enjoy the updated aesthetics. I think Figure Eyes have done a great job in making this model kit look and feel more like an actual action figure. Obviously, the aftercut marks and the seam lines, where you put the parts together are still visible, but in terms of the overall look and heft to this kit, yes, it does feel a lot more solid than the 1.0 counterpart. It's definitely an improvement. I was pleasantly surprised at just how solid it felt after finishing putting it together. I mean, I've gotten a lot of questions about the Figure Eyes line in the past, about how sturdy the finished product is, if you can actually play with it, what's the plastic quality like, and whilst the 1.0 was relatively well built, it still felt, hollow, as a model kit would. The 2.0, while not built like a regular action figure, definitely feels a lot sturdier, and that might be because of the extra parts, which really isn't that much more than the 1.0, but I think maybe they've, done something different, maybe heavier plastic. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely liking how it handles so far. While the proportions and overall sculpting are leaps and bounds better than the original, Goku still has that kind of 3D animation, CGI look and feel to it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, it just might not be for everyone, but for me I see more of a stylistic interpretation, and this could easily work as a Jump Force version of Goku. I will say this though, the sculpt work feels sharper and more organic. The broad shoulders tapering into the smaller waist and then flaring out at the bottom of the pants are all what I envision when I think of Goku. Which leads me to the face sculpts, which again are such an improvement over the original. I think Figure Eyes have really taken some pointers from Tamashii and really put in a lot of effort in making these faces look as expressive as possible. I love the smirking face especially. It's one that we don't see too often with a Goku figure, but I think really captures that tenacious, optimistic character of Goku. We even get a smiling, happy face, which, to be honest, is probably my least favorite, but still really glad they included it. As with all Figurize kits, you don't need any glue and all the parts are already molded in the right colors, so you don't need to paint them either. And yes, if you are the seasoned model kit builder, you could definitely go all out with this kit, sanding up all the parts, filling in all the seam lines with some Tamiya cement, and giving the kit a complete brand new paint job. But what we are looking at is probably what most of us are going to do with our own kits, and just as it is, the kit looks great. But something I always recommend when it comes to Figurize kits is getting yourself a bit of dull coat. I use Tamiya spray can dull coat, but it can go a long way in making this kit feel and look more like a premium collectible. It gets rid of that cheap, tacky looking shine and just elevates what's already great about this figure/kit. This model kit also comes with a couple of stickers that you can actually use for this model kit to put on the logos Goku has on the back on the front of his gi. As you can see, I put on the logos there for Goku on the front and the back, and to be honest, they actually turned out a lot better than I expected. Usually with model kits and stickers, especially with Figurize, some of the stickers are a little bit thick and don't really go on the figure that well, especially on these like crease and seam lines. But for these stickers, they're actually quite thin, and they have like kind of like a matte coating, and you don't really need anything else. I'm usually a person who prefers water slide decals because they're a lot neater and they stay on, they don't peel off, and they have that kind of matte look which actually integrates with the actual plastic a lot better than stickers. But for these stickers, they're really good quality. Yeah, the stickers for this model kit have definitely improved. You can definitely just have these stickers and be totally, you don't need to do anything else with it. But yeah, I'd imagine that they might peel off in time, but so far they are looking really good and they stay on really well. So kudos to Figurize for upgrading these stickers as well. All right, so let's take a look at the articulation, and there's actually quite a lot of good, very interesting articulation going on. I think it's one of the, I guess, main selling points about this figure, combined with the updated, of course, proportions, which look fantastic. It not only makes for a really fun posing figure/model kit, but it actually looks really good when you have Goku all posed up in all those dynamic poses. I mean, even like this, in a vanilla pose, he looks great. But yeah, let's have a look at the head first. So Goku does move his head up really well. Look at that. Looks way up. Fantastic. And he can bury his chin into his chest about that much as well. The head and the neck joints are independent pieces, so you do get some really good tilt going left and right, and of course side to side. And in addition to that, and this is new and we haven't seen this before in any figure arts or any Figurize figures before, but his chest here, I guess the flesh, the skin tone part, and the blue gi part, it actually moves in, up and down, if you can see that. And I think that's fantastic. It's like he's actually wearing like, layers, which he actually is, of course, in the animation and manga, but in figure form. So you can move his chest, his upper torso in and out, up and down like this. And I think this is fantastic. And I mean, even though, yeah, it does serve its purpose in when you're moving Goku's torso down like that. So you can, have him crunch forward a bit more. But even if it doesn't, get that much more ab crunch going forward, it is still a bit of cool articulation that I really do appreciate. And I think that's something that I hope Figurize kind of implements in their future kits as well. So moving on to his arms, Goku can move his arms out. I think he can go better than that. Hold on. Okay, well, not really. A little bit less than 90. He does have really good butterfly joints, and this is going to come in really handy when you're doing those Kamehameha or blast poses, because the closer you can bring his arms into his chest, the more natural the Kamehameha poses will be. So he can bring his arms really far into his chest, which is fantastic. Even more so, I guess, than the 2.0 Goku figures, Figure Arts Goku figures. He does have 360 there, rotation at the shoulders. And he does have upper bicep swivel. It is a little bit stiff, and you can really hear that kind of squeaking. But he also has kind of like a swivel here at the elbow. So you can, I mean, if you don't want to use that upper bicep swivel, you can use that elbow joint here to move it kind of left and right. Very much like, Black Series figures. So that's kind of cool. It's a bit of extra articulation. His elbow joints are single jointed, unfortunately, but they do get a little bit past 90, which is pretty good. And for his wrists, you do get hinges up and down. And again, I just want to show you this, guys, because I really like how they've done the wrist joints now. It looks exactly like, I guess, an import figure or a Figure Arts figure or a Mayfix figure where, you've got that kind of hinge joint there, the ball hinge there from the arm, and it connects to the hands. Like in the past with the 1.0 Goku figure or the 1.0 Figure Eyes line, it was just a hand with a ball peg. It didn't look that great. Obviously, it served kind of like a similar purpose, but it was limited in the articulation, and it didn't look that good either. So I'm really glad that they've gone this route and given us something that looks really cohesive, and the arms really look good as well. It doesn't actually just pose really well, but looks really good as well. So I'm really glad that they've updated these wrist joints, and of course you do get the swivels there at the wrist as well. All right, so moving on to the torso, and I pretty much showed you the torso. Goku does ab crunch about that much. It's not great, but he does have that bit of range of movement there. His swivel is mainly at the waist there. It is a ball joint, so you can move it around and around, but yeah, your swivel is going to be there at the waist and not at the upper torso. For the legs, Goku can kick out 180. I think he can get a little bit better there. He can go 180 with his legs, do the full splits, which is great. And he does get full 180 as well, back and forward. So really good articulation there at the legs. He does have a hidden upper thigh swivel. Sorry guys, gonna get that to focus. Hidden upper thigh swivel, which is good. And the thing that I like about the Figure Eyes kits is that the knee joints are really well sculpted. I like that. You don't get the breakup there in the leg. And he kicks, pretty far back, bends pretty far back, which is good. He also has a boot cut there. His feet go down pretty far down, actually. I like that. And about that much going up. You do have, for the first time ever in a Dragon Ball Figure Eyes line, toe joints. Look at that. And it came off. Sorry, guys. If you push it too far, it'll come off, but you can pop it back on. So he does have toe joints, which is fantastic. That's really cool. And you have really good ankle tilt as well. So, I mean, articulation is fantastic. Probably more points of articulation, especially here at the chest, something that we've never seen before, than probably a Figure Arts figure. And again, it is a lot of fun to pose. The plastic quality is great. It looks good. And yeah, just really good articulation, really interesting points of articulation for this figure. And I'm really interested to seeing, how they will use these new points of articulation, or this kind of new engineering that they've used for Goku in, the other upcoming future figures as well. I'd really like to see something different for Vegeta, or maybe if they do a Trunks or whatever. But I'd really like to see these kind of, new engineering points for the articulation for future figures as well. But at the moment, Goku is a lot of fun to pose, and he looks great when posed up. So for accessories, Goku comes with your usual suspects. He gets 2 fists, 2 Kamehameha hands that look good, 2 fighting pose hands, 2 instant transmission hands, and 1 right waving hand. I just want to mention again that these hands are much better sculpted and sized than the 1.0, and the way that they connect to the arms feels more like an import action figure, which is fantastic. Goku comes with 5 interchangeable faces. We only get 1 headpiece, so you just swap them out like you would a figure arts figure. The kit also comes with a clear display stand for the actual figure and not for the effect piece, because unfortunately Goku doesn't come with any energy effects this time, which is kind of a shame, but if that means that they spend more of the budget on the actual figure, I think I'm okay with that. So I have to admit, I didn't really miss the Figure Eyes 2-year absence. Tamashii are pretty much full throttle with the Dragon Ball line, and at this point of the game, there really isn't any character I don't think Figure Arts won't make. I'm sure it'll take more time for some characters than others, but eventually it'll get done. However, I gotta say, Figure Eyes have definitely got me interested with this new updated iteration of Goku. Sure, it's not perfect, it's not as refined or elegant as a Figure Arts figure, and I know that's an unfair comparison. And, honestly, do I really need another scale of Dragon Ball figures in my collection? Probably not, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have a lot of fun putting this kit together. The finished product was also a pleasant surprise, and the new articulation makes it a joy to pose and looks fantastic as well. Figure Eyes have teased that they'll be adding more characters to the new SPEC version roster, so I'll be anxiously waiting to see what they do next, although it's probably almost certain that we'll be getting a Vegeta. But hey, who knows? They might surprise us and make it the Saiyan Saga version. I'd be definitely down for that. Look, I've said this in the past, and I'll probably continue to say this for every future Figure Eyes review I do, which I do plan on collecting. It's a model kit and should be treated as one. Is it sturdy enough to be posed and played around with? Definitely. However, it'll never be as solid or as forgiving as a real action figure, so keep that in mind. Like I said, model kits aren't for everyone. They aren't complicated to build, but at the same time, it did take me about an hour and a half to complete. So if that's not your thing, again, something to consider. However, if you do enjoy the mechanics and, like seeing how the inner workings of a figure, or enjoy the satisfaction of putting something together yourself, then this might be right up your alley. Figure Eyes have really stepped up their game in terms of quality, sculpt, and articulation, especially in the articulation, for a little less than, I guess, what you pay for a Figure Arts figure. Yes, they are 2 totally different things, but you can definitely enjoy them for the same reasons or for what they are. The main thing is that we have options again, and as I always say, options are always a good thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review of Figure Eyes Goku 2.0. If you have any questions about the build or how to customize your kit or, whatever, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to be as helpful as I can. Anyway, that's it from me, but I will be back with, I'm not sure, maybe another archive review before Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. But yeah, until then, take good care of yourselves out there, be good to your moms, and as always, yoroshiku!